Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this important webinar. Abróchate el cinturón, hazlo por tu familia, or buckle up, do it for your family, is a seatbelt campaign developed to address the high number of fatalities and injuries among Latino immigrants under the age of 35. The seatbelt campaign was developed by the National Latino Children's Institute with support from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. I'm Rita Jaramillo, Board Chair of the National Latino Children's Institute, and joining me today is Rudy Ruiz, CEO of Interlex Communications, a Latino-owned and operated public relations firm with significant experience developing and executing award-winning campaigns to change behavior for the good of society. During the course of this webinar, we will cover the following points. Who is the NLCI? What is the Abróchate el Cinturón campaign? Why is it important to support the campaign? How do I know it will modify current behavior? And what you can do to get involved in the campaign. So, about the National Latino Children's Institute. Our mission is very simple, to focus the nation's attention on the contributions and unique challenges faced by young Latinos. We carry out our mission by working with a 400 organization and individual network of Latino children serving organizations, other national Latino organizations through advocacy and social media. The issues we cover can be found in the National Latino Children's Agenda. This is a set of principles that call for the dignity, respect, and fair treatment of Latino and all children. So why are we here? Simply stated, we're here to save lives and decrease injuries caused by unrestrained drivers and passengers. We all have had a loved one that we've lost due to car accidents. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, automobile accidents are the leading cause of death in the U.S. among Hispanics under the age of 34. I think that statistic is worth repeating. Automobile accidents are the leading cause of death in the U.S. among Hispanics under the age of 34. While the statistics for children have improved, of those who are killed or injured as a result of car accidents, the majority are likely to be unrestrained Latino children. We believe that by working with organizations and leaders such as yourselves, we can turn this around. This is a winnable battle. We can save lives and decrease the number of injuries and disabilities caused by the lack of seatbelt use. We know that seatbelts save lives. This graph illustrates that fact. Of the fatalities that occur, regardless of ethnicity, the majority of the victims were not using seatbelts. For Latinos, that number was more than 55%. Saving lives is everyone's responsibility. The toolkit was developed for Latino serving organizations, law enforcement organizations, public safety officials, and the general public. With funding from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the National Latino Children's Institute developed a bilingual multimedia campaign including a web-based toolkit to help educate Latinos, especially recent arrival Hispanics, about the importance of seatbelt use and to increase the use of seatbelts amongst this population. Automobile accidents are the leading cause of death in the U.S. among Latinos between the ages of 5 and 34. Yet, there are few programs designed to educate and inform them of the importance of seatbelt use. Children, teens, and young adults are all impacted by the lack of seatbelt use. Teens have the highest fatality and injury rates than any other age group and are also less likely to be buckled than any other group. NLCI learned through the development of this campaign that regardless of age, gender, or country of origin, the single most significant motivating force for Latinos to use their seatbelt was doing so for the sake of their families. At this point, I'd like to invite Rudy Ruiz to talk about the process that NLCI undertook to design and execute the campaign, and to lend his expertise to share with us his thoughts on the campaign and whether or not it can change the behavior that we're looking for. Rudy?
Thank you, Rita. Well, one of the important things about a behavior change campaign like this is the kind of process that it's gone through in its creation. And that is one of the things about this campaign that we feel it makes it stand out and makes it a very relevant tool for organizations trying to reach the Latino population. To give you a little bit of a background on the process that went into the campaign, the campaign was developed with funding from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and the National Latino Children's Institute developed a web-based toolkit that includes an entire multimedia campaign to help educate Latinos with a specific emphasis on immigrants about the importance of seatbelt use and increasing the use in the population. The market research team that worked on the research for the campaign was a multicultural team, multilingual, and brought very special expertise in this area. And while I was not involved in that part, looking at it as an objective observer, I can definitely say that it was done in a very best practices manner, working with Latino partners in various states throughout the country to really ensure that Latinos of different nations of origin were encompassed in the research, including Mexican, Central and South American, Cuban, and Puerto Rican. The NLCI held focus groups to explore the beliefs and the attitudes, the behaviors, and the habits behind immigrant seatbelt use. And the findings really corroborated certain hypotheses that the NLCI already had in mind, which is that the Latino immigrant population is very diverse within itself. There's different cultural customs, there's different religious faiths, there's diverse political beliefs and influences. And it's important to understand these as well as to understand the similarities so that the final product can really be appealing to this entire diverse group and really hit home with the most common denominator in terms of the emotional triggers that are going to motivate the population to adopt new behaviors. And part of the testing and went into the research was not just what were the challenges, but what were the opportunities and the triggers, and also as the creative components of the campaign that you'll see were developed, everything was tested, from the fonts used to the sounds in the video, sounds of the car, the special effects, the overall, the messages, the slogans, the headlines, and the images. So everything was really put through rigorous filters and boiled down to messages and images that really resonated across these diverse segments within the Latino population. And the end product was also done bilingually, so that if you prefer to speak in English as a Latino, then it could be addressed to you. And if you prefer Spanish, then likewise, there would be the right message for you. So another key component that the NLCI has looked at in the research is the fact that research shows that Latinos are the top users of social media right now at about 80% compared to 70% for non-Hispanic whites. And so another aspect of this campaign is that it's been developed to work through partnerships and through social media to really reach this very active online community of Latinos with this message. So moving on to the next slide, one of the processes that we use in our agency is it's called the Público Behavior Modification Model, which is this graphic that is on the screen right now. And it's really over about 12 years been used in numerous campaigns and proven to really work in terms of behavior change. And so we looked at this campaign, the NLCI campaign, through the lens of this model to really assess, whether it could be considered a best practice and whether we felt it has an excellent chance to change behavior. And it definitely does. And the way we look at it is that we look at our target audience, the Latino community, and they face this event or issue of seatbelt use. And currently they're in a negative state or low state of awareness, low state of motivation. And our goal is to move them to a positive state of awareness, a positive state of motivation, so they can reach that positive end behavior on the upper right-hand corner of this graphic. And the campaign is really represented by that wedge on the left that's going to shift awareness and motivation and behavior towards the positive. And the NLCI campaign really takes into effect all of these factors that you see here: culture, sources of influence, the preferred channels through which information is received, the information and awareness deficits in the community with regards to the positive impact of seatbelt use, and then the key emotional triggers that are going to really build on that awareness and motivate the change in behavior. If we move on to the next slide, we can see a little bit of what we found specifically through the NLCI's process and as we apply that filter. And we really look at the challenges and the obstacles within the culture that are leading to the negative end behavior of not using the seatbelt properly or sufficiently. And what NLCI learned through the research was that many Latinos are not accustomed to using the seatbelts in their countries of origin. They may have felt that seatbelts were unnecessary unless they were driving long distances. Oftentimes they were not used to riding in a single-family vehicle because in their countries of origin they used mass transit, such as buses, or they walked or used the bicycle. So for NLCI, that knowledge, that understanding helps really clarify that the need for the education, the need for the information about the difference that the seatbelt makes in saving lives. And then the other aspect was the emotional part, the emotional trigger that's going to motivate once the person knows this information. And that was really evoked by family. That's really not a huge surprise, but the research is important to validate that insight. And as we move to the next slide, we can see that the key insight that came from the research was that if Latinos were going to do this, they were going to do it for their family. And familismo is a phenomenon within the Latino culture that is very prevalent, and it is a huge motivating factor to overcome obstacles, overcome information deficits, and motivate new behaviors. And so you'll see in the imagery and in the phrases and in the messages of this campaign, not only the information of how the seatbelt can change outcomes, but the importance of doing it for your family. So next thing that we're going to look at is actually the video from the campaign, and this is a video that really tells a powerful, compelling story that builds on these messages, and we hope you enjoy it.
Mijo, cuida a tus hermanos.
Sí, mamá. Abróchense los cinturones.
¿Para qué?
No vamos muy lejos.
abróchate el cinturón.
So now that we've seen the video, we're going to turn it back over to Rita to walk you through the other elements of the campaign. Rita?
Thank you. I think that you all will agree with me that the visual sends a very powerful message. As Rudy described, the science of how these campaigns are developed, I think we've hit all the marks. The affection and concern of the mother toward her children is very clear. The whole family dynamic is very profound. The sounds of the breaking glass and the metal warn you of the fatal consequences of not using the seatbelt. And the sadness felt by the loss of a child is palpable. At the same time, we can see how investing just 2 seconds to buckle our seatbelt can have a very different and positive outcome. There are various components of the campaign. As we said, it's multimedia, multifaceted. So the rotafolio, or the toolkit that has been developed, is completely bilingual. The materials are available in the tú and the usted form, depending on who your audience is. There are various components, as I said. So we'll have the toolkit, and then we have posters and palm cards, and what you're looking at here are posters. And they can be printed, easily printed on your personal computer. You can engage the business community by asking permission to post them and their windows. And we encourage you to select those businesses, obviously, in the heart of the community, where people can have access to them. We ask that you print them and put them up in your offices, and as reminders. The palm card, as an example, is a small, it's about 4 by 5, and I like to suggest to people that they post them on their refrigerator, that they post them on their sun visor of their car as reminders to buckle. And for most of us that do use them, you can't even imagine getting into an automobile anymore without buckling your seatbelt. It's just, you can't, that's the first thing I do. Almost before I close the car doors, I buckle immediately, and that's the kind of automatic reaction we're trying to instill with everyone. This is the stickers that you're looking at. Kids are very impressionable, and when a child, even a young child can understand our video. And if you convene a special event around the campaign, have stickers available that people can take away and remind themselves of the campaign. And it's a conversation piece that people will ask you about, and you can again begin to spread the word about the campaign and the need to buckle. We have also developed a PSA, and we're going to be launching a very aggressive multimedia campaign to get the word out. The PSAs are available in English and Spanish. By the time you participate in this webinar, you may have already heard on Spanish language radio and television our PSA ads. And at this point, I'd like to have you listen to the Spanish PSA so that you'll see why we're excited about it.
¿Piensas que solo vas a manejar a un lugar cercano y no necesitas abrocharte el cinturón de seguridad? ¿Piensas que solo los que van en los asientos delanteros necesitan abrochárselos? ¿Piensas que te cuesta demasiado abrocharte el cinturón? Piénsalo de nuevo. 2 segundos y no te cuesta nada y te pueden salvar la vida. Hazlo por tu familia. Abróchate el cinturón.
Este mensaje es patrocinado por el National Latino Children's Institute y la National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
So, what can you do? You've seen the products, you've seen the video, the PSA, the palm cards, the poster. What can you do? There's much that you can do. You're taking the time to participate in this webinar is a first step. There are many challenges facing the Latino community. Fatalities and injuries due to unrestrained drivers and passengers need not be one of them. We can win this battle. Think of yourselves as the boots on the ground in this battle to save precious lives. Examples of what you and your organization can do are limitless, but I'd like to provide some for you to consider. First and foremost, join us in the fight to save lives. Go to www.nlci.org and sign on as a supporter of the campaign. Issue a press release announcing your commitment to help save lives. A draft press release has already been developed for you and is available in the toolkit. Post a link to the Abróchate campaign on your website. Again, it can be found at www.nlci.org or also on the NHTSA site at www.NHTSA.gov. Rudy alluded to the high use of social media amongst Latinos. Use social media to spread the word. Use your networks to spread the word. Use Facebook, Twitter, blog about it, Twitter Abróchate, and see if we can't begin to spread the word and the urgency around this. Many of you are already in coalitions. Ask your partners to join you in the fight. Publicize the coalition that may form around this important issue and communicate about it. We talked about including small businesses. I can't think of a more worthy cause that costs them absolutely nothing, and the outcomes are saved lives. Identify and train a staff person within your organization who will become knowledgeable about the various campaign materials. Incorporate the use of the campaign within your organization's programs and events. I'm thinking of a New Year's resolution, a birthday wish, almost any. El Día de los Niños are, one of our signature programs. This is such a worthy cause that can be incorporated into all of these special events in our lives. We encourage you also to disseminate campaign materials at community events. If you have a table, print a stack of palm cards and make that a recurring part of your materials distribution. Engage young people in spreading the word. Identify ambassadors. Work with schools to host a special event on the campus. Everyone knows that during that the spring season, around high school prom, there's always the number of fatal accidents goes up. That would be a very timely, that would be a good time to launch a campaign at a school. Hold a special event for parents. informing them of the importance of seatbelt use. Publish the campaign messages in your organization's newsletters, magazines, website. All of these they cost little, and again, the outcome is high. And then let us hear from you. Let us know what strategies you're implementing in your community that we can share with others. We will be posting them on the NLCI website and sharing them with other organizations. In closing, I'd like to thank you for participating in our webinar to save lives. The Abróchate campaign, as I said earlier, is a part of the National Latino Children's Agenda. It was developed by Latino leaders from across the country almost 20 years ago. We invite you to go to the NLCI website and sign on as a supporter of the agenda and the campaign. Latino youth are the fastest growing population in the nation, and by 2020, Latino teens are projected to increase by 62% compared to 10% for the overall U.S. population. Working together, NLCI and its partners can save lives and create a culture of safety. We can beat this, and we must. Should you have questions regarding the NLCI or the campaign, contact us at nlci@nlci.org. Thank you for your participation.